All right. Good evening, everyone. Good afternoon for those of you on the far west, still a little bit towards the afternoon. I hope you're all having a wonderful day. We are here in Country Living and Business Plus Pets, and this is one of my favorite topics and probably my favorite topic overall. And it does dovetail nicely with business. So they're kind of one and the same to me because I'm always thinking in that agricultural vein when it comes to business as well. And that's what we're here to answer. Any questions that you have about country living and business or pets, or if you look at it as rural living and agriculture, fur babies, however you look at those topics, that's what we're here to work on. Let's just check out the chat. Hello, Rose. Is this Rose Scarlet or is this a different Rose? All right, we'll wait and see if they answer in the chat. Very interesting. I love natural names, so whichever Rose you are, it's a beautiful one. Hello, Rose. Okay, so Rose Scarlet is here with us today, guys. She is another one of our hosts, our staff members. She's been here a little longer than I have. She was a librarian for many years. Great, great resource for you guys here in Lesko Help too. Definitely throw questions her way because she is great at it. I modeled my answers after her answers with Matthew's resources that he saw for the different questions. So I kind of blended their approaches, and that's how I formulated the responses that I have for our community. So she's definitely a wonderful member of our staff. All right, guys, let's dive right into it and see what kind of questions you have about country living and business, pets, like I said. I think a lot of you are new today. I don't believe I've gotten to work with you before, Charles Wallace. You have your microphone unmuted. Can we answer a question for you today?
Yes. Soon as I see where to unmute.
You're unmuted. You're good to go.
Oh, okay.
We can hear you.
Yes. I'm I'm back enjoying your podcast here. All the others that you have. Uh, my basic question would be, my town is probably 70,000.
Okay.
Overall, it's kind of rural,
Mm-hmm.
but not farmland and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd be looking to uh, fix up my house a little bit. I need windows, number one, big priority. And once I get that or get help with that, I'd be good for another couple of weeks.
Oh, okay. So that's not quite where you would approach your country living and business, but I want to get those resources for you. We're working on getting them included in our Unlock Your Goals, but we don't quite have the home repair yet. So let's grab item number 8 out of the Lesko Meta Grants report for you. And that's where we're pulling so many of these resources is right out of this report. We're just putting it in a little bit more user-friendly organization, a little bit more detail and explanation for each of the different options that you have out there. So all of this great information is going to be built into that Unlock Your Goals space. And what I mean by that is this Unlock Your Goals collection with all of these wonderful spaces. They're topic-based spaces. And for this class, we actually pull from the Start My Business space for agricultural businesses, as well as Get Healthcare Help, because there's an item in there for your pets, and we intend to get more in there as well for that. Today's meeting is actually hosted out of the Live Meetings collection, as it was here before we started the Unlock Your Goals set, and we decided to keep this and add those two topics because they were already so thoroughly covered in a couple of our other topic-based areas. So we're going to jump into the teaching sessions space in the Live Meetings collection where this particular class is hosted from. And then all of your answers are going to be in the Community Answers tab. This second tab here at the top, you start and join a live Q&A with all of the different classes listed that go from this space from this space every week. And right next to that is the Community Answers tab. But don't worry, Charles, if that's all a bunch of gobbledygook to you, I'll give you 2 simple steps to get to that answer when we're all done, okay? There you are. All right. Oops, did I not copy this? Let me try again, guys. Okay.
When I access these pages here, am I clicking on the first one first and working my way down with phone numbers and
That is a
location?
great way to look at it. With the meta grants report, sometimes you need to go into another report and some different things. That's why we're kind of trying to streamline the process a little bit in the Unlock Your Goals space. So there are 2 more classes tonight where if you go and you work on this information and you have any kind of questions as you're walking through that process, you can ask either Michelle Cairns, which her class will be starting in 59 minutes wherever you are. So that will be 4 o'clock p.m. Pacific, 5 o'clock p.m. Mountain, 6 o'clock p.m. Central, and 7 o'clock p.m. Eastern. And right after that, at 7:30 my time, so 6:30 p.m. Pacific, 7:30 p.m. Mountain, 8:30 p.m. Central, and 9:30 p.m. Eastern, you have Q&A with Tony. And those are both open-ended question sessions, but this one is really trying to concentrate on the country living and business questions or pet questions. So I want you to have this information, and then we'll see if anybody does have questions about that topic. If not, we'll talk about it for just a moment. And if we still have time, we might open the floor to open-ended questions. Okay? And so I'm also going to grab a series for you on the, oops, wrong one, home repair topic. In the country living and business, rural, you can also approach getting assistance through like the FSA instead of the FHA, the Federal Housing Authority. The FSA is the Farm Service Agency, I believe. But I want to get the overall home repair, as that's not generally where you would go with it. That's talked about as much, at least in the FSA arena. So I don't want to speak out of turn and tell you that that will work. It could, and it's worth checking into. And I'll provide the FSA information for you as well. So this is all going to be in one answer here for you. All right, now let me just jump over to our lessons that we work on in this class. The spaces with the lessons that we work on being in the Unlock Your Goals collection. And for rural living, country business, agriculture, those types of things, you're going to want to be going to the Start My Business space. And while this is geared towards business, the lesson for farmers and ranchers, which is in the second unit, the Business Deep Dive Pro and the Big Resource Vault, that's the first tab you arrive in on any of the Unlock Your Goals collection spaces. You're going to start with the action steps. So Start My Business, your action steps is the original tab you land in when you come in. And you want to come down to the second unit, and you have the grants, loans, and resources for farmers and resources. If you pull this lesson up, there are so many different ways to work through the rural angle, right? So your USDA Service Center, Rural Development, Farm Service Agency, that is going to be where the FSA is at least attached or coming through. I never know exactly how they term their connections, right? You have the beginning farmers and ranchers hubs, all these great pieces. Let's go ahead and click the Farm Service Agency state offices. And what state are you in, Charles? If you don't mind my asking. And if you're answering, you must have muted yourself.
South Carolina,
Thank you.
Greenville County, if that
I
makes
don't
sense.
know how much specific detail we'll need. Let's find for South Carolina first. Okay, so if you've had any kind of hurricane damage, right there on the page, they want to let you know they're out there to help, right? Find your FSA location, loans and financial assistance. This is possibly where you could go if you don't find any like weatherization grants for your windows or things like that, which is in the home repair. That's why I started with that. But I don't want you to leave without understanding that there are possible options in that rural perspective. Okay. So finding your FSA location and searching all programs might be really good steps for you. So let's grab this because this is the first area that you might want to come back to explore the resources more deeply. Okay, and so that's going to be added to your post here. That's the first step. Now, as I go through, I'm going to put it in the replies under the first step so that it follows in a sequential order under the answer that this particular series of steps is. Does that make sense? And you're muted again, just so you know. You don't need to mute yourself every time, especially if you don't have background noise, which I haven't heard any in your location. So if there's no background noise, you can just keep yourself unmuted while you and I are working on putting an answer together for you.
Thank you.
Absolutely, thank you. Okay, so I would actually recommend finding an FSA location first because you can reach out to them and then talk to them about whether or not they have programs around something like improving the quality of your windows for improving your heat and cooling retention and all the different things that touches on, right? So I want to keep track of the search. I want to know where I've been and be able to get back to it. So instead of just clicking find an FSA location, I'm going to right click and open link in a new tab. It doesn't always work as easily on a phone. We went through that a little bit last week, I think. When you go into your phone, it's kind of hard to see, but there's this little box right here. Oh goodness, go away. There's this little box, and hopefully yours doesn't have the big face, happy face, the big smile, happy face. Hopefully it has numbers, but I have a lot of tabs open all the time. So when you click that, it's going to show you all the tabs that you have open on your phone. Mine is also synced with my computer, so these grayed out ones, those are tabs that I have open on my computer. So mine gets a little bit ridiculous, but these with detailed pieces, those are the tabs I have open in my phone. I try to keep mine pretty cleaned up because it can get really crazy. Some of you might not have realized that if you go in and you check out your little happy face box, because it will probably be a happy face box if you've never gone in and cleaned it up. And then you'll see all these open tabs, and you can actually clear it out. You can click the 3-dot menu. Okay, and it says close all tabs. Each device can have it a little differently. You might have to look around to find your 3-dot menu. It might not be right up in the top right corner like mine was, but something like that, and then close all tabs. For our purposes, though, that's not what we're doing. We're tracking our history. So if I go to this most recent screen that I had up where I was doing a search, it's really interesting because I'm looking for wood chips and getchipdrop.com, which offers free wood chips, or you can pay like $20 to $80 to the service, and all that does is pays the commission fee that the tree service has to pay to getchipdrop.com to use their service. I know it sounds so complicated. It's not really. If you give them $20, they don't give it to the tree service. It just means the tree service doesn't have to pay getchipdrop.com. So there's never an exchange of money, but then that tree service doesn't have to pay to utilize the service. And so free up to $80 for 4 drops for that company if you want to donate that to them. And you get these great, huge car-sized piles of wood chips for free, or like I said, donating up to $80, which could maybe get you higher priority. So I tried it once without any donation, and I never did receive it. Then I tried it with a $40 donation, and I got it. And $40 for a car-sized pile of wood chips is still extremely cheap, right? I have another one out. I had to renew it. I didn't get any. I'm over here kind of in the boondocks in Tooele, Utah, so we'll see if that works. It's not working right now. I really need the wood chips. I don't want to buy them if I can avoid it. So I called my power company, which happens to be Rocky Mountain Power. The lady I talked to, of course, really didn't know how to help me, as I knew she probably wouldn't, but I was able to track back what the overall corporation that Rocky Mountain Power is umbrellaed under. And those probably aren't correct technical terms, but gives the idea. And so these are the foundations for, and it doesn't want to show it, these are the foundations, the .org, the nonprofit element of Pacific Corp, which is the overall corporation that houses Rocky Mountain Power. And so I'm going to reach out to them to see if they would like to possibly consider this as part of their community outreach. As Megan P. is always telling us, corporations have to have a foundation, a nonprofit, something that they have to do community outreach in all of the communities that their corporation has investment in, something like that. She can tell you a lot better about that part than I can. However, it's something I've learned from her, and I'm going to make use of it by trying to get some free wood chips and maybe get it so these huge electrical companies are doing this for their customers, maybe all over the country, right? So there's all these different ways to interact with these resources that we share with you. And those are some of the skill sets that we talk about when, as an example, Matthew talks about reaching out to your elected officials. This is similar to that. When you're reaching out to these foundations, you have the ability to simply reach out and talk to them and ask them if they have programs like that, or ask them if they're aware of a program like getchipdrop.com, where instead of putting all these tons, literal thousands of tons of wood chip waste into landfills, putting them out to their customers, saving their customers money and doing something better for the earth while also saving themselves money as a corporation. And so that's one of the things that you might do when you're reaching out to an elected official as well. It's a very comparable kind of cause that you might want to reach out to an elected official about. Okay, so I am going to, again, we're going to make me go to South Carolina. Sorry, I got a little distracted there, guys. And now it does want your county, Charles.
Greenville County.
Greenville. There we are. Okay. So here is your dashboard. And I love this. I have it printed up over here so that I can get to all these wonderful pieces of contact information anytime that I want to. All right. This is the link to take you to that page.
I can save all this.
Yes, once I'm going to, at the very end of putting your resources together, I'll walk you through how to easily get this information, and then you can put it in like a Google Doc or a WordPerfect doc or something like that to save it. You can pull it up and you can bookmark it. What I like to do when I do searches like this is I put it into a Google Doc, and I'll put every single link, and then I'll group them so that I know. Let me just show you really quickly how that would look. We're working behind the scenes all the time to get these units and these spaces fleshed out for you. And part of that was getting the business space ready. So this is all grouped together. These are all mentor type things up here at the top. Okay, so you have Find Your Local Service Center, the Rural Development, your Farm Service Agency, Beginning Farmers and Ranchers. Those are all resource centers, and a lot of times they have mentorship programs to work with people in the agricultural industry, small to large, okay? And then I move on and I have the business counselors and mentors that's specific. As you see, it's Rural Development, Beginning Farmer and Rancher. There used to be some others as the administration has changed. We're seeing some shifting. I think some of these things will come back and look a little different, as several of them already have, and some of them probably won't come back, right? And maybe there'll be something new to take its place in that same general arena, or maybe a nonprofit will take it over, or perhaps the state will take it over. Don't worry about things if they disappear for a moment. Many of them that have disappeared that I use all the time have come back. A few of them haven't. And then that's when we start broadening our search beyond that particular instance in this moment of time, right? And then it'll change, and then it'll change. So don't ever give up on a resource. Always check back in, especially after such a big change as this administration is making, kind of unprecedented. But even a normal administration change, generally you're going to see some turbulence and some change. So you always want to check back in after there is any kind of big shift, whether it's internally in that department or that arena, or if it's an overall administration change like what we're talking about now, right? Not to mention that even just going back about every 3 months to 6 months, depending on your availability, just to check and see if anything's changed, anything new has opened up, etc., is always a good idea. And so do you see how I group them together. You can even do something like putting in these lines in between different things. So here's a whole nother, there's so much. I forgot that I had this underneath there, but these are all specific things. So this is your idea, planning your operation, then learning about the resources that are out there, building that actual plan, the official plan, then funding that operation. And so you can do that in any kind of a topic and put your stuff together. That's what I like to do when I'm putting together documents for you guys. Okay? So that's the local service center. Now we're going to go back to this tab here because we've kept it up. This is where we got your service dashboard. All right. Then we're going to go back to our original tab and we're going to right click search all programs and open link in new tab. Here we have that new tab, find a program. So if you need a loan, that's here, but they also say financial assistance. So, oh, but that's for your business. Okay. I know that they do things for residents in rural areas as well. So at that point, what I would want to do is I would want to contact them because I'm not sure where to go from here to get to the rural living area of the Farm Service Agency that I know exists. So I'm going to look for the contact information, which is just so clear and nice. Let me move this just a bit further just so those phone users, if they can see. This contact us is right up at the top. Make my mouse a little bit bigger. I'm putting a smiley face right underneath it here. Okay, contact us. I'm going to right click and open link in new tab because I want to keep this tab in case I decide I'm going to have an agricultural business or I want to look into this disaster assistance or any of these types of things. And I go to the next page and here is the contact us information. How do you access resources for country livers, right? For rural dwellers, those kinds of words. Here is the mailing address. And then they're telling you go to your state, which is this one here. This is your dashboard. So you've already got this information. It's all right here and it's already in your answer. The Find Your Local Service Center. If I click this link, it's going to pull up your dashboard. Okay, see, boom, I have it in 2 locations because I got here by searching and then I clicking the link that I provided in your answer there. Okay, so that's where this search led us to, is that they really want you to talk to them on the ground. So let's go and look and see what that would mean. Specifically the Farm Service Agency, not Natural Resources Conservation Service Office or Rural Development. You're looking at the Farm Service Agency. And so here is their contact information. This is specifically what you need in order to reach out and ask if they can direct you to the resources for people that live in the country and want to do different things like fix your windows. I'm going to copy this for you and I'm going to put it. It is really fun, isn't it?
It's a lot deeper than I was expecting.
I think it is for almost everyone who approaches this topic who doesn't already have some experience from their job or, you know, personal life or family that deals with it, things like that. It goes a lot deeper. It is layered. Absolutely. All right, so now you have several different ways to look at home repairs. Do you feel pretty comfortable about the information? You feel like you have some good steps that you can apply to move forward from where you are?
Okay, now for me to get this information that you've just sent.
Right, but that's what I'm going to do next. But do you feel like you have good steps that you can work through once you get this information in your hands?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, excellent. Now I'm going to place on here how to save or bookmark your post so that you can back to this or any other post that you need to again and again. It's really hard for the algorithms to locate specific posts because we're such an active community. And what you're going to do to get this post, Charles, is, are you comfortable getting into Lesko Help Too?
Yes.
Okay, and do you know what I mean by your notification bell? I'm circling in the upper right-hand corner over here.
Yes.
All you need to do is click that notification bell. As long as you go in the next several hours, it'll be towards the top. It'll say Sabrina Giesler, Charles Wallace, and then it'll start to trail off, or your host Sabrina has tagged or mentioned you in a post, something like that. Click that notification and it'll pull this post up that you and I just built. And then you want to click here, your 3-dot menu. Let me move that. Your 3-dot menu to bookmark that post so you can get back to it again. And it's all right here. You want to make sure to check for all comments. Sometimes it'll say additional comments right above the first comment area right here. And you want to make sure to click that because that means there are more resources there right here. Do you see how it says previous replies? Can you see that? Let me move.
Okay. Yes.
Okay. So I click that and it's going to expose the other answer that's been provided right there. Okay.
Okay.
Does that make sense how to get to that and how to start utilizing it?
Yes.
Okay.
It
Excellent.
makes sense, and I'm watching, attending on my computer, and now I'm going to pull Lesko Help 2 up on my phone, and of course go to the bell and see what I have.
Wonderful. All right, why don't you do that? I'm going to mute you. And then if you have any questions about it, once you've got that pulled up, just either unmute yourself and wait for a moment that you can say, hi, I could use your help again, or raise your hand. To do that, you have to access the Zoom toolbar where you've been muting and unmuting yourself. And if you take your eyes and go to about the middle of that toolbar, many of you will have a big heart. Click that heart, you'll see the raise your hand feature and a variety of other reactions you can take. If you don't have that big heart, just keep going all the way to the far right side where you'll have a 3-dot menu, a 3-dot more menu, or a more menu. Click that, you'll see the reactions tab, and then you'll see the raise your hand feature and a variety of other reactions you can take. Either way, let us know if you need any other help. All right?
I will. Thank you.
Thank you, Charles. Okay, and then Teresa, you have yourself unmuted. Is there something that we can help you with today? There's nobody's hand up, so.
No, I'm sorry. I'm looking for the mute button. I'm on my phone.
Oh, don't even worry about it. Thank you. There's been no background noise, so you haven't been any sort of a distraction. And are you sure you can't think of any questions you could ask while you have the floor?
Not off the
Putting
top
you
of
on
my
the spot,
head.
right? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, this is Country Living and Business plus Pets. So anything you have along those lines, hopefully that'll trigger some questions for you. And if you have one, either just raise your hand or unmute yourself and let us know when there's a break in the conversation. Okay?
You got it. Thank you.
Thank you, Teresa. All right, guys, we don't have any hands up. We still have the majority of the class. There are so many resources out there for the agricultural perspective. Like I just shared, there are ways to approach it whether you have a business or not. There definitely are different programs out there. I'm just working from the resources that we have here, as that's what these classes are really designed to show you, is the resources that we're building for you in the Unlock Your Goals collection. And so I'm not approaching it from the reports and the series that we have on it to work through the more citizen viewpoint rather than the business viewpoint, right? But I can definitely get you there to the contact information through these resources. And if we need to, if Charles comes back and he's like, I couldn't ever find that out, we'll go and we'll tear through the old resources until we find it. Yes, Kay, how can we help you today?
Hi, can you hear me?
We sure can. And is it Kay or is it Katie?
It's Katie. You had it right.
Okay.
Thanks.
All right, Katie, how can we help you today?
So I have a question about, like, say I wanted to get some farmland. I know that they have loans and stuff from the government to get that, but do I have to like actually have a farm? Like, can I
All
just?
right, so let me just share the exact knowledge I have about this for Utah.
Okay.
It'll be a little bit different for every state.
Okay.
I want to primarily be an education source in the
Mhm.
agricultural world, not a producer, but I do want to produce some. So in order for me to be considered for the type of producer grant and grant-like opportunities, even the loans, right? I would guess that they would have the same types of criteria, but I wasn't approaching the loan. So that's something that would have to be looked into, but that's not where we want to start anyway. We want to, right?
Okay,
So,
right.
in order to be considered for those kinds of opportunities here in the state of Utah, I have to produce $1,000 worth of recorded sales for 3 years. I don't know if it has to be consecutive or if it can be broken up. I'm of course going to try for consecutive because I just want to keep moving forward. So I'm brand new with just having purchased this house in, we got the keys and opened the door on August 31st. So we're really just establishing the property, right?
Nice.
And so I have to get the property ready, then put the stuff in, then wait maybe a year, even after it does some small production, to really be able to take it outside of my family's uses, right? It's going to be a minute. So then I want to make sure I'm right out there. But that's something we all have to look into, because every state, even every county, can have differences on all of these different grant and grant-like opportunities that we talk about. So the ones that are really going to know about their programs, their initiative, are the people handing out the funding for that particular program or initiative in your area, right? So do you want to have mine? Again, it's a little bit less traditional. Even within my production, I am showcasing how people can utilize even small spaces like what I have, a residential lot, to store water so that they don't have to use as much water to do something like produce $1,000 worth of sellable goods.
Right.
And so I go more through the Natural Resources Conservation Service. However, if you have a more traditional model in mind, you would more likely go through your farm service agency. So what did you intend with your agricultural production?
So I just wanted something to have like a homestead for my family, not like for everyone else.
So there are so many ways to go about that. And there's so many ways to make something like that pay. Definitely start making some good contacts with the people in the rural community. So we're going to walk through that same basic step process that we did with Charles for you. Okay. So we're going to jump over here to the Grants, Loans, and Resources for Farmers and Ranchers lesson in the Start My Business space in that Unlock Your Goals collection. All right. And I'm going to provide the resources from this. Let me actually provide this link as well to you both. Let me put it on Charles, and I'll start yours out with that, as that's more where you kind of began. This.
I live in Connecticut, so it's not really like a lot of farms over here. I
do think that there's definitely some farmland up in that area. And again, I can become someone who can get those types of grants and loans on my residential lot. I know I can produce $1,000 worth of saleable goods. I have no worries about doing it. I just have to get it to that point. So you don't have to be this like gargantuan enterprise in order to be possibly eligible for these different grant and grant-like opportunities out there. Does that help?
Well, $1,000 for like the whole year?
Yes.
Oh, that's nothing. Okay.
Now it could be different in your state. Okay, that's Utah. And that's where I can't tell you. They can tell you in their area. And I got that information from, I believe, my beginning farmer and rancher coordinator. So I have worked with, in my area, the Farm Service Agency. It took me 2 years before the man would respond to me, because he knew from my communications that I really didn't belong in his arena of the USDA. However, I didn't know for sure where I belonged. So I just kept bugging him, because I knew that he was really kind of one of those contacts that should be able to provide me some resources. And I just kept politely bugging him for about 2 years, as often as I could remember to do it, and find the time to do it clear-headedly and nicely and all these things, right? And so he finally got back to me and he said, look, that's great, whatever you're wanting to do, that doesn't really have anything to do with me. I would recommend these resources. And I wrote them down. Well, then when I delved more deeply into our resources here, I discovered some different ways that got me to the point that I had the dashboard. Darn it, and I'm not finding Charles' dashboard, just to show you guys really quickly. Oh, here we go. Okay, so every area of the United States is going to be able to get to this local dashboard for county, state, whatever that has for them, right? Doesn't matter what county or state, you can get a local dashboard. I didn't know that initially, or I would have maybe began this in a little bit different approach, but possibly not, because it doesn't really tell you what they do in this listing. But where I actually go is the Natural Resources Conservation Service Office. So what we're going to do right now is we're going to walk you through until you get this dashboard, so that you can begin contacting people to see where you best fit in to have a little bit of support and mentorship within the agricultural world in your community.
Okay.
All right. So let me exit out of all of these tabs. If we don't need those anymore, we're going to do that with you. I'd like to walk you right from the actual lesson. And then let me start your post as well. I almost forgot to get it started. So that's KD like this, is that correct?
Yes.
Katie being K Diane.
ADN, yes.
Okay, Katie Ann. Oh, that's so cute. Okay.
Thanks.
You're welcome. Okay, first of all, let me just provide that overall lesson that we're coming out of in the Unlock Your Goals, Start My Business space. Then we'll jump over here and we're going to go to the Farm Service Agency state offices. I think you can get to that page through a couple of different ways, but that's what we just did, and it's really simple, so let's do that again. And what is your state, if you don't mind sharing that with us, Katie?
Connecticut.
Oh, that's right, I apologize. All right, and then we're going to hit go. Oops, and I could have provided that, but this is really the first link you need to know. So here again is your find an FSA location tab and search all programs. So we'll provide this link for you. And then, oops, wrong thing. We're going to right click, find FSA location, open link in new tab, jump over here, and you have the option now to put again Connecticut and your county, if you wouldn't mind sharing.
It's New Haven.
So, and now you have your local dashboard for New Haven, Connecticut.
Nice.
Yes, and so I would start with the Rural Development Office if I were in your shoes, Katie. And that's in Windsor Service Center, Rural Development. You can, of course, reach out to your Farm Service Agency office and your Natural Resources Conservation Service. That's going to be if you're looking into a more sustainably minded practice in your agriculture kind of thing. It's not quite so simple as that, but that's a good way to just kind of think about it and remind yourself of where they're centered a little bit, right? Overall traditional for your Farm Service Agency, more towards, like it says, natural resources conservation, environmental sustainable in your NRCS, that's the Natural Resources Conservation Service. And then rural development is pretty well just what it's called, rural development. So all of those offices could have some help for you. You also have the Beginning Farmer and Rancher Coordinator. Let me grab this link for you, and I'm going to put that right under in the reply thread so that it's obvious where we got this link. We started here and we worked forward to this area here. Okay. And I just want to make sure I didn't put the same one. It should be yours. Yes. Okay, excellent. Now let's come back over here and go to your Beginning Farmers and Rancher. Oh my God, that's so hard to say. Beginning Farmers and Ranchers Hub. All right, and here we go. Then this one they're going to tell you to go to your service center.
Okay.
It's a little bit frustrating. Okay, here we go. This is more what I was looking for. Contact your Beginning Farmer Coordinator. Yay. Okay, so right here, see where it says land own lease or plan to purchase or lease? Right up your alley. So we're going to right click, open link in new tab. And so this is where you will have started this one as a search. So we'll put that in a new line.
Okay. Awesome.
Now we're going to jump right over here. And then Connecticut, here you go. This is your Beginning Farmers and Ranchers Hub Coordinator. Boy, that's a mouthful.
Awesome.
Oh my
I'll
goodness.
definitely be contacting them.
Yes. So that's that may be a good place to reach out to first, because you can explain what you're doing, and then if I would have understood, I had her contact information from the beginning, Robin Sadlier, but I didn't know where she fit into the overall picture, and I didn't know what questions to ask her when I was dealing with her. And so that's, again, what we're trying to minimize. We want to really streamline this process for you guys, show you how easy it is to work through the steps to get to an application or contact information so that you can find out if they have something that you would like to know about the application process for, right?
Awesome. Thank you.
Very
I
welcome.
appreciate it.
All right, so are there any other questions that you'd like answered while you have the floor, Katie?
No, I think I'm good.
So what I'll put on now is just that how to bookmark or save so that you can return to this post as many times as you'd like.
Okay.
And let me just get these out of here so that I don't lose the pieces that kind of apply to everyone. They rack up quick, those links.
Mm-hmm.
This is you where we're at. Doesn't look like we lost any yet. Perfect. Okay. Now, are you comfortable getting into Lesko Help 2 and your notification bell, Katie? Do you know what that means when I ask those questions?
I think so. Like on the app, you mean?
Okay, so yes, you can definitely get in on the app. You can also get in on the website on a computer or a laptop. On your phone, you're going to be going through the Mighty app. It's Mighty Networks, but you just see the Mighty black background with white lowercase writing, right? And so yes, that's how you get in. So you feel comfortable getting into Let's Go Help 2.
Yeah.
And then do you see where I'm circling in the upper right hand corner over here?
Yeah.
Do you see this bell that you can barely see, and it's kind of covered by this big block with numbers in it?
Yeah.
That's your notification bell. Just like Facebook, if you're familiar with that at all.
Yeah.
It's better because this is a timeline list from the most recent all the way back to about a month. And so as long as you go in the next few hours, it'll be towards the top. It'll say something like Sabrina Giesler, KDN. KDN, is that how you pronounce it?
Yeah, KDN.
KDN, and I can't pronounce your last name either.
Right.
Oh my God, you have a harder time than I do, and that's saying something. So it'll say that and then start trailing off, or it'll say your host Sabrina has tagged you or mentioned you in the post, something like that. Just click that, and that's going to build or bring that post up that you and I just built together. And again, you make sure you look for those previous comments if it does have it. Sometimes on your phone it'll have it if there's more than, say, like 2 comments. So just click that if you see previous comments to expose all those answers. So now you feel comfortable getting in and getting that, and do you feel like you have some steps that you're ready to work moving forward?
Yeah. Oh wait, I have one more question.
Okay.
So the grants that they have, do they have them for businesses who want to buy farmland, or is it just residential?
It's kind of all of the above, and everything kind of varies from county to county, state to state, all of that. So that's where instead of worrying about what they may have, it's better to just contact the source and start talking to them about what you want to do, what you've already done, what you've already invested of your time and your money, and where you want to move forward that you're looking for a little bit of assistance with.
Got it. Okay. Thank you.
Very welcome, my dear. Thank you. I do love answering those country questions. All right, I'm going to go ahead and mute you there. And Darlene, how can we help you today?
Hi.
Hello.
I was telling my parents about this grant. I just joined 2 days ago. They live in a country and they live out by a racetrack where multiple people come. And they didn't know if there were any grants that they could get to put like a cabin or a place, something on their property that people could stay at.
There are actually specific grants like that in a few locations, grant or grant-like opportunities. I haven't seen it widely distributed, but there are definitely a lot of different ways that one could approach that. And there are resources and assistance out there for you that you could check out to see if you're interested and if you qualify. So I think that beginning farmers and ranchers is going to be the best bet to work through for you as well. So let's go and just walk through those steps together, you and I, so that you see how we do. So we're here in that Start My Business space in the Unlock Your Goals collection. This is the second unit, and you can see both units on the side here in this new layout. Some I like, some I don't. I really like the last one. This is the first unit here, and then you have your second unit, and we're kind of right there about the middle in the grants, loans, and resources for farmers and ranchers. And so what you're looking for is that beginning farmers and ranchers hub, and we're going to click that. And then again, we're going to be looking to find your local beginning farmer and rancher coordinator. So we'll right click and open link in new tab. And then here, we're going to pick your state. And did you tell us what your state was? I'm sorry.
It's Ohio.
Ohio? Okay. There we go. Okay, so this is your contact information for your beginning farmer and rancher coordinator in Ohio. Okay. So let me see first. Let me actually grab the overall lesson for you so that you see where we're coming from, and you can get back to that when you want to.
Yeah, I had no idea they were considering that until they just said there was a need for the area, and they have all that property.
Wonderful, wonderful. Rural development also might be a good thing for you, so we're going to walk through that process as well. Let's grab this here for you.
You're just going right through with someone and stuff here.
So I can get you one.
So that is your beginning farmer and rancher coordinator. Now let's go back and we're going to go to the Farm Service Agency state offices. We're going to click that one.
Okay.
And we're going to go again to Ohio. Excuse me. Oh, my allergies are just so unpleasant. All right, and so here we are in Ohio, and then that is where we want to right click the Find FSA location, open link in new tab. We'll copy this one for you so that you can go back to that one, and then we'll grab your local service center, but for that we will need your county as well.
They're in Huron County, Huron.
There you are. Excellent. And then we're going to hit go. And boom, that is the page for all of your different options. Oh, look, you have extra.
They live in Norwalk. They live in Norwalk, so that's cool.
Oh, there you go. It doesn't matter, though. They're going to handle it for the whole county, but that is nice. Some of them are located in my town as well, and it is nice.
One of the questions I had, too, is my brother bought an old farm land that's on the outskirts of a city, but he still said he's city limits, but he owns acres, and it is farm. He wanted to know if he would be considered. I told him I would ask.
Absolutely. He should just reach through these same resources and discuss his
situation. He wasn't sure if it had to be outside of city limits or not.
No, I'm not outside of city limits. I'm inside of city limits. And I am still eligible for these things if I meet the criteria. Like I said, I have to do $1,000 worth of production off of the land in sales that are official, and I have documented and all that is applicable. And then once I've got that 3 years of $1,000 under my belt, then I open up to all these different options.
Okay, good. I know the city wants him to tear down the old barn he has, and he wanted to see if he tears it down, he can get a grant to rebuild it.
And definitely, so rural development will be a good option, but you also have this whole dashboard that you guys can all work through.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Absolutely. So now let's go and add all of this to your post here. So this is, let me just write it. Farmer and rancher coordinator. And then actually copy that and add that really quickly down here on these just to make life a little bit easier for everyone. Okay. And for Mr. Charles. Okay, he wasn't as interested. We didn't get the beginning farmer and rancher for him. So now let's add it to the next set of resources that we just walked through. Okay.
Do they have to set up for any kind of a small business like LLCs or anything like that to do this?
That's where you have to talk to the
just talk to them.
The funds, because each individual opportunity has its own set of criteria and requirements, right? There's no generalized answers. So this is the overall USDA for Ohio. Okay, and then this is your dashboard, I believe.
Okay.
Yes, I think so, but let's just click it to verify. Okay, find your local service center. Yes, this is going to be your dashboard. Okay. See where it says find your local service center, and then you have local
Okay.
dashboard for Huron.
Oh,
Okay.
thank you.
For Huron, is that how do you pronounce it?
Kieran?
Huron. Okay, thank you. All right, and now this is the office that I think would be a great place to begin. Okay, your
Okay.
Massillon, I'm not sure how you pronounce that.
Maslin, yeah.
Massillon Service Center, Rural Development. You have their phone number, their physical address. You can get directions for that. Here's their mailing address, and then their contact information for the individual over the rural development, all being right there. All right.
Okay.
They don't provide a phone number for you like some of the others did. It didn't look like, unfortunately.
So does it all go by
Yeah.
county? Because my brother lives in a different county.
It does all go by county. So
It
all
goes
that
by
you would
county.
do there is
Okay.
click this first link, okay?
Okay.
And then you come in and you walk through the same thing, find an FSA location, and then you'll walk through until you put in his
Okay.
county, okay?
Find
It's
FSA.
good to work these resources like we've walked you through it visually, so now you have a great
FSA
opportunity to
location.
right here. Let me put this up here.
Okay.
Walk through this step with your brother as well.
With Zip. He said, I wish I would have thought about this a long time ago. For 10 years, he's been ripping things down and putting things back up on his own.
Well, hopefully there's something out there for him. And as much as that can be disheartening, perhaps, the fact that he's already invested that much time and money will actually make him more.
He's totally redone the whole house. Now he's working on the farm in the yard.
It makes somebody more willing to listen to you when they hear how far along you are and that you're committed, that you've invested yourself and your money into what you're doing. That'll a lot of times
Okay.
kind of what gets you in the door, or maybe is even required, these different kinds of things. Okay.
All right. Thanks.
Absolutely. Now, is there anything else that we can add to your post before we go ahead and shut class?
No, I'm good. Thank you.
Excellent. Now I'm going to put on here how to bookmark or save. Okay. And that's just because there's such constant activity here in Lesko Help 2 that the algorithms can really struggle to find the specific post you're looking for. So if you know you want to return to something again and again, make sure to save it. Okay. And that's bookmark.
Okay.
All right. And then now the all important questions. Are you comfortable getting into Lesko Help 2, Darlene?
Yeah. So I've been going through and looking at things.
Wonderful. And do you know what I mean by your notification bell?
Yes.
Wonderful. So that's where you're going to find that answer from me. As long as you go in the next several hours, it'll be towards the top. Sabrina Giesler, Darlene. Oh, you're going to have to pronounce your last name for me as well.
Polshavartek.
Polshavartek. That sounds like so technical. That's okay. So, and then start trailing off, or it'll say your host Sabrina has tagged you or mentioned you in a post. Anything like that, click that. That'll pull this post that you and I just built up together. Again, like I talked about a couple of times, you want to make sure to scroll through the whole thing and then look to see if there's anywhere that it says previous comments. That's the next host looking for previous replies. That's the next host looking for their links. So as she calls it, Michelle's so cute. She makes up all kinds of technical terms for things that the technical term doesn't necessarily apply to, but I know exactly what she's talking about, and I better go give her link. So thank you all so much.
Thank you.
We have, as I mentioned earlier, coming up tonight, both Miss Michelle and Tony. So that will be Friday's Coffee and Grants with Michelle at 4 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Mountain, 6 p.m. Central, and 7 p.m. Eastern. She's great. It's an open-ended question session, as is the next one, which will follow 2.5 hours after that, wherever you are, with Mr. Tony. And I will be with you all again next week on Monday for the open office hours, which is kind of like an open Q&A as well. And that will be at 2:50 p.m. Pacific, 3:50 p.m. Mountain, 4:50 p.m. Central, and 5:50 p.m. Eastern. Hope to see you all there, and I hope you all have wonderful weekends. Thank you, everyone.
You too.
Absolutely. Thank you, Darlene. Please feel free to unmute yourselves, everyone, and say good night.
Good night.
Sorry up there, Charles. Bye.
Good night.
Everyone.